Welcome, everyone, to Burgess Power Hour. And today, we are going to be really looking at our purpose. What is my purpose? Why am I here? I get that question so much over the years that I've been doing this and all around the world, and people keep asking, why am I here? What's my purpose? Am I on track? I guess it's a thing that we all ask since caveman days, right? So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody, so I'll be right back.
Dana Williams.
So I muted everybody just because we had a lot of background noise, and there's quite a few of you on the call. So if you want to speak or share anything or say anything or ask questions or anything like that, you can hit *6. I'm going to take off this tone. Okay, so we won't hear those tones, although I like toning, but not while we're talking. Okay, so here's what we're going to do tonight, everybody. I'm just welcoming you to really finding out what is our purpose. Why am I here? If that's a question you ask at times, then this call's for you. And again, if you want to share anything or if you want to unmute yourself, just hit *6, okay? And that will unmute you, because right now I've got everybody muted, I think. Please get out something to write with if you can. If you are driving, that's probably not a good idea. However, if you can get something to write with, take some notes, and we're going to do an exercise, as everyone knows. And that's been on these calls. I love doing experiential stuff, okay? So here we go. And at the end of the call, by the way, I'll have some announcements that I want to make to everybody as well, okay? So tonight, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Well, here's first of all, today is the summer solstice. So it's the longest day of the year. It's the summer solstice. It's a very, very interesting time of year all around the world. So I just want to acknowledge that is happening right now, and we're doing this call during the summer solstice. So this should be magnified just by you being on the call, just because you are in that vortex of energy, okay? So the definition of purpose, when I looked it up, it said the reason I'm created, or you can just look at it as why something exists. So if you ask yourself that question, why am I here? Why do I exist? Why is the reason I was created? Am I here for a purpose? What is my purpose? I'm hoping that tonight will give you some keys and some ahas and some looks into what is your purpose and why you're here. So one of the things that it's real interesting, I'm hoping that this will free you up, because so many people get caught up in that whole term of purpose. They get caught up with, am I on track? Am I doing the right thing? Am I here for a reason? Do I matter? Am I making a difference? And I'll tell you that everywhere I go all around the world, no matter what culture, what religion, what country, what society, male, female, young and old, everybody asks the same thing. Do I make a difference? Why do I matter? And that is why I keep doing the Essence of Being, this kind of work, personal transformational work that I've been doing for 36 years, is to really keep reminding all of us that we do make a difference and we do matter. But people get tripped up about that sometimes. They get tripped up and say, well, how? How do I matter? I need to see proof that I matter. I need to see proof that I'm making a difference. So I'm going to tell you about, those of you who have done Essence of Being, you've heard this concept before, and I'm going to explain it again and share with you, because it's very important to me in all the work that I've done and all the play that we do together, this concept called precession. And precession is a Buckminster Fuller term, and if you've never heard of Bucky, Definitely you will if you come to Essence of Being, but it's R. Buckminster Fuller. Just look him up. There's a whole long list of who he is and why, what he has done for all of us, and his philosophies and his thoughts and his concepts. Brilliant man. However, this particular concept just really gives me freedom, and I hope it'll give you freedom to know that no matter what you do, you make a difference. As long as you're moving, towards something. So I ask people, do you make goals? Do you have a goal in life? And most people say, yes, I do. And then the next question is, well, have you ever made a goal and then you said, wow, okay, I've achieved my goal, now what do I do? What's next? Did that, now what do I do? So the question always comes up, well, then why make goals? If the goal isn't it, if once you make that goal, you realize, well, that wasn't it, let me do something next. What's next? Why make the goal? Well, it is because of this philosophy or this concept. It's a generalized principle. And a generalized principle means basically, if it works for me, it works for you. If it works for a rock, it works for the planet. If it works for the planet, it works for the bunny rabbits. If it works for the bunny rabbits, it works for the sun. So basically, a generalized principle means that it works for everything. So precession is the effect of bodies in motion on other bodies in motion. The effect of bodies in motion on other bodies in motion. Now, stay with me on this because this is really, really powerful. If you take a stone and you drop it into a pool of water, what happens? There's a ripple effect, right? There's a body in motion affecting another body in motion, and it creates a ripple. And Buckminster Fuller said that it happens at a 90-degree angle. So that 90-degree angle is where the effect happens. Not necessarily the course that you're headed toward, but at a 90-degree angle is where the effect happens. So, for instance, the sun and the moon, the sun and the earth, the moon and the earth. These are bodies in motion affecting each other. So it affects, the orbit is a 90-degree angle. Basically, it revolves around each other, and it revolves in such a way that it affects each other. If we were not moving, if the earth was not moving, then we would get off our orbit and we'd be dead. So the point is, the earth and the moon affects each other. Just like if you think of a honeybee, and Bucky used to call us money bees because we had goals of creating money or creating wealth or creating love or creating life, something that we had a goal toward. So just think about the honeybee. What does the honeybee do? So it wakes up every morning, and what is its goal, okay? Remember I said the goal's not it, but let's look at why that is. So let's say the goal of the honeybee is to basically go get the nectar. That's what the honeybee wakes up every morning and says, nectar, 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 nectar. That's my goal. That's what I'm going for. Now, what is the bigger purpose of a honeybee going to get its nectar? The bigger purpose, the grander scheme of things, the eagle-eye view, is it cross-pollinates. It steps on all the flowers, and it cross-pollinates. That's the bigger picture. Now, that's the purpose of that honeybee, is to cross-pollinate. It's a bigger picture. Does the honeybee wake up every morning and say, I'm going to go cross-pollinate today? No, the bee wakes up and says, I'm going to go get the nectar, 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 nectar. So we are just like the honeybee in that we have a goal. We go to get more money or get a job, get a career, create more wealth, create a relationship, have more love in our life, have more fun. Whatever our goal is, we are moving toward that goal. But while we are moving, we have an effect. And usually it's a 90-degree, not usually, it is a 90-degree angle. Something else happens. We affect something else where we don't even know it. So we might be going toward something, toward our goal, and we achieve it. Yay, now what? That's because that's not really the reason why we're here. We're not here to create, to basically make goals and achieve them. That's great. It's it's a vehicle to get us moving. It's a vehicle to focus our attention and focus our intention on what we choose to have. And while we're doing that, as long as we are adding value along the way, then our effect in the world adds value. And that, my dear friends, is our purpose. That is everybody's purpose, is that it really doesn't matter what your goal is. It really doesn't matter whether you achieve your goals or not, as far as this effect that you have in the world, that you actually create some kind of ripple effect, that you're adding value somehow. Now, if you're going toward your goal and you're not adding value, then the effect that you have in the world will not add value. In other words, there's a duplicate. You will mirror your intentions. So let's say that your goal is to retire. Okay, so what do you do in the meantime? You add value along the way. Let's say your goal is to have a fabulous, loving relationship. Okay, so as you're going toward that goal, you're focusing your intention, you're focusing your desire, you're creating a path. However, as you're going toward that, you are moving. And when you move, you have an effect. And if your intentional movement is to add value to you and others, then certainly your effect will add value to you and others. I'm hoping that this kind of breaks down this very, very powerful, generalized principle in easily understandable terms. Because sometimes we just don't know what kind of effect we have. And when I learned this long ago, it really made sense to me it kind of freed me up. It made my life a little more free because I didn't put so much pressure on myself. I know that so many of us do that. We put a lot of pressure that we have to make this certain goal. We have to do this certain thing while we're here on the planet. This is our purpose, and if we don't make it and we don't do it, then we failed. So that's a lot of pressure. And sometimes we can look at our life and go, yay, we did stuff. Or other times we can look at it and go, man, we're not doing it. I've disappointed myself and others again. I have failed again. Or it's just not enough. And that's when people start asking that question again, why am I here? What is my purpose? So what if your purpose was to experience? What if your purpose was to add value? Well, let's go and see. I've got a little exercise for you to play with tonight. So I'll explain more about this later, but I want to see what you come up with. This will be fun. So what I want you to do is get your piece of paper out, and if you're listening on the recording, which, by the way, everybody on this call that registered will get a recording of this call, so you can do it again, or you can go back and listen to it again. So I want you to put 3 words across the page. So the first word across the page, I want you to put B, B-E, and underline it. B-E. To be or not to be, that kind of thing, okay? So you put that on, underline that and put that as your first word. Then go to the middle of the page, okay? Just go across from it a little bit and start at the very top, the middle of the page. I want you to write the word have and underline that. I have, okay? Have. And then all the way over to the right of the page, I want you to write the word do and underline that. So now you have 3 words on the page: be, have, and do. So on the do side, which is all the way over there on the right, I want you to start on the right-hand side, which is a little counterintuitive in the Western world. We're going to go from right to left this time, okay? So start with do. What I want you to do is write down a list, 10 things you want to do, 10 things you love to do. If you can't come up with 10, that's okay. Just start the process. Go ahead and just write down the first things that come up, things I love to do. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be about business or career or relationship. It could be anything. What do you love to do? I'm going to give you about 30 seconds or a minute to do that. And those of you who are chiming in and you hear nothing, we are here. We're just writing, doing an exercise. Okay. Does someone unmute themselves? Want to say something? No. Okay. All right. If you can't do 10, that's okay. You can always go back and add to this. For the purpose of this exercise, it's okay. All right. Is someone on the other line there? Did you unmute yourself?
I just realized I had my phone on mute beside your mute, so
okay.
I was just asking if you could try to speak a little bit louder.
Okay. Be happy to. Is that better?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay, honey. All right, great. Yeah, just hit *6 again, and that'll mute you again. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll speak up. So, have, now I want you to do the have column. Okay, that's in the middle of your page. I want you to go ahead and write down 10 things you want to have. And if you can't come up with 10, that's okay. Just start the process. First things that come up, 10 things I want to have. Just write down the first things you think of. Okay, finish up on the one you're on. And then on your B list, okay, on your B list, which is the left-hand side, just make a list of what do you want to be. I want to be, and start making a list. Come up with 10 if you can. And just finish up on the one you're on. So here's something that's kind of cool. Even if you haven't finished it, it's okay. You can go back and add to these things, okay? So you have a list of be, have, and do. Now, what's interesting is I want you to, if you did it across the paper, okay, go ahead and just see what sentence you made, and it'll look like this. So the B's, I'll give you an example. So on my B, I put, I want to be safe, okay? On my have, I said, I want to have freedom. And on my do, I said, I want to act. I like to act. I like to act, okay? So now I'm going to make a sentence out of that. I'm going to say, and for anything that you put down for a B, you want to say, I feel. Anything you put down to have, you say, and have. And anything you put down for the do, you say, to do that. So it'll look like this. I feel safe and have freedom to act. So another example is I wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to have friends, and what I love to do is teach. So I'm going to make a sentence out of that by saying I feel healthy and have friends to teach. So see if you can just look across your 3 lists and see if any of that rings a bell, makes sense. And it can feel maybe abstract, or maybe it's very concrete. But I found that fascinating that I could make a sentence from the place of creating my, quote, purpose, okay, creating why am I here, the be, have, and do's. I want to feel a certain way and have a certain thing so that in order for me to do something. And then, if you had any kind of cool things, you're welcome to share those. But the other thing I want you to do is look and see if you have anything listed more than once. This also will give you a peek inside of your core values, things that you feel is a core value for you, what you love to do, what you want to have, and how you want to feel or be. being is feeling. That's why I like calling our class Essence of Being. I have a lot of workshops, a lot of play shops that we do, but our flagship one is Essence of Being. So before I move on to the next thing, does anybody want to share anything, any ahas or thoughts that they came up with on this one, or any questions? I'll have time for a couple of people if you choose to. Just hit *6. And that'll unmute you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I get this, and it's a big red truck, but when there's $0 to create, it, to even start it, I'm literally $0. How do you create it out of thin air?
So what did you come up with? What was your be, have, and do?
Well, I want to be in the cannabis, which I've devoted the last 4 years of networking and groundwork, legwork, tremendous amount. And I want to have a thriving, successful, organic, non-GMO, grain and sugar-free edibles business, so that I can have fun and enjoy life, and other people can too.
Okay. So so when you said that, was that in the be, have, and do column, or was that in just one?
Well, when it was be, I saw be before you had the I feel. I saw be as I want to be in the cannabis.
Okay. All right. And I want to have a successful business, right?
Right.
And in order to
be able to travel and have fun and do my art and help other people and make other people happy.
Okay. So that's perfect. So you made a little sentence there about a focus, an intentional focus of what you want, and so what came up for you was the but, right? So what comes up is the but for you and for a lot of other people. But I don't have, or how can I create that from nothing? I have, whatever the but is, because anything that you say after but, of course, negates everything that you choose to focus on. You know that, right?
I get that,
yeah. Yeah, I know. So the focus, whenever you say but, it negates everything. So you might as well not even say what you're wanting to be, have, and do. But
I just can't figure it out. That's the problem.
How about this? And this goes for everybody.
Or until recently, I have not been able to figure it out, and it's driving me crazy.
Perfect.
How's that?
That's great. Okay. This goes for...
Because really, that's the truth.
This goes for everybody.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm about to say something. I want everybody to listen.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Here's the thing about that. So the first thing that comes up is, let me ask you a question. What if you don't figure it out?
I may kill myself. I'm tired of this already.
Okay. What if you allow things to unfold without being attached to the outcome?
I've kind of done that to a point, and it's the first time I've stepped off. Right now, I am in the darkness of the unknown.
Okay.
Seriously, darkness of the unknown.
I hear you, and I hear the fear around that. I do, and I hear the desperation and the I don't knows. Okay, so this is the call tonight is about the purpose, about why am I here. So you have a high desire, you have a very intentional thought process of what you want to create, and you also have a very powerful but, that matches it, that keeps you stuck, that keeps you from moving. Now, the movement is what creates the effect. If you let go of the attachment of it really doesn't matter if I achieve that goal. What matters is if I'm adding value along the way and not saying or focusing on the but. Just what if it was I could just let go of being attached to that goal or being attached to it looking that way and putting myself in so much turmoil and so much pressure that it has to happen soon or I'm going to kill myself. Okay? What if any of us out there, you and everyone listening, what if we could just say, I matter, I'm making a difference, and I'm going to keep moving because that is the key of why I'm here. I know I have an effect in this world. I know it. I may not see it, but as long as I'm adding value along the way, it really doesn't matter if I achieve that particular thing. Think about it.
You know what, Burge? I totally got that. Seriously.
Okay, great.
However, I'm not saying but. I'm going to say, however, I have given, seriously, so much of myself. Okay. I have donated so much of my life and time to helping others all over the place. I'm continuously doing it.
With the intention of doing what? Why do you help others? Why do you help others? Why?
Well, I've had a major healing.
Okay.
Like life-changing healing. And I don't know if you saw my picture that I posted from 2005 when I was actually, I know now what it was. Yeah. And it was stage 3 Epstein-Barr virus. Yeah. I know that now.
Yeah.
At that time, I was told it was type 2 diabetes and hypothyroid.
So why do you want to help others?
Because I know the pain that I have suffered for so long, physical pain, that pain, that was something that I wanted to kill myself from. I couldn't take it. And a year ago, my doc turned me on to a healer and a program, and I grabbed it, and in my mind, he said 6 months, and I said in my mind, 6 months, that's it. If it don't work, I'm done. I'm out of here. And in 2 months, I woke up one day, and the pain was gone.
Okay. So
it was amazing, and that's what I try to share with people because they can heal themselves.
That's great. That's great. And so you're sharing things to help other people because it helped you. Does that make you feel good?
Of course.
Are you doing it because you want something in return? Are you doing it because you want to add value?
I want to add value all over the place. It would be nice to somehow get some kind of flow back. Okay. That would be nice for a change.
Okay, so there is an
it would
attachment.
be, but I don't not talk to people and share because I'm looking for something. I do it because I'm concerned. I see people what their bodies look like, and I've changed so much. I'm down more than 120 pounds.
I know.
Total.
I know. So here's the thing. I don't want to go into a whole session with you about all of this right
now. I'm
However,
sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make it a generalized principle about how this can work for you and others that are listening. And I'll be happy to, we could work on this offline again.
I would love
whatever
to.
that is, okay? So, but I want to thank you for sharing that and thank
it's
you
very
for sharing
difficult.
That
You got to understand that.
Okay, so what if it was?
In other words, even expose. I have openly exposed myself tremendously in the past 48 hours.
Okay.
Very public.
Okay. So the thing I'm going to share with you, and you can hear it or not, and other people can listen, or this can maybe benefit them as well, is that whenever you have a however or a but, okay, and if you are giving people things or trying to serve others by sharing things with the subconscious intention of what am I going to get back? When is it going to be my turn? And you may not be saying that clearly. You're not saying that as you're trying to help other people when you're sharing, but there's an attachment or a definite desire to say, when's it going to be my turn to get a reciprocal? There's an intention and a desire there. So it's not intentional and conscious necessarily when you're helping people, but there is on a subconscious level saying, when's it going to be my turn? I deserve this. When's it my turn? Hey, and if I keep helping people, then maybe it'll show up for me. Well, it hasn't yet, so now what? So what I'm trying to say to you and everyone listening is this, is that what if your purpose is just to be here and experience and add value? What if there is no end result. Now, if you can imagine that for just a moment, you could go one of two ways. All of us could. We could say, well, then why bother if it really doesn't matter? Or it could totally free you up to say, wow, I am free. I don't have to put all that pressure on me anymore to create my purpose. I don't have to put any of that pressure on me to know that if I make it or break it, it makes a difference with what my effect in the world. Because our goals change, right? I mean, we do have goals that we want and things that we want to achieve, and they change. Well, does that mean our purpose changes? Does that mean why we exist changes? So instead of asking, this is for all of us, instead of asking, what is my purpose, you might want to try on asking yourself, what effect do I have in the world? What effect am I having in the world? And I know in my heart that every one of us have had instances where we can look at what kind of effect we've had in the world and how much of a difference we have made to people if we really, really thought about it. Many of us have a lot more of that evidence and have been very blessed to see the kind of effect. And that's what keeps, personally, me moving. That's what keeps me moving, is I get to see a lot of times the effect I have with people. Now, I'm not trying to create the goal or going for something and getting disappointed when I don't make it. All that does is allow me to go back to that dark space. It allows me to move back to that I didn't make the goal. So I'm going to put more pressure on myself to make that goal. So oftentimes, these 90-degree angles that I'm talking about, they show up in the strangest ways, things that we would never even think of even creating for ourselves. On our way toward our goal, toward our business, toward creating fun and having, like the person on the call was saying, she wants to have a successful business in order for her to help people and to have fun and travel and to share and to create a better world, okay? So that's awesome. Now, wonder on your way to doing that, it hasn't happened yet, there's something that comes into your space on your travels that moves you a 90-degree angle. It taps you on the shoulder and says, what about this over here? Hey, what about this? What about that? So you get to choose, is that a 90-degree angle that I want to go jump on or not? And you trust your intuition. Trust your intuition whether you go to that 90-degree angle or not. In other words, you could be moving towards something, and all of a sudden something comes into your life that you had no clue was going to be there, and then you realize, wow, that is where I really want to be, or that is what I want. That's how I want to feel. That's what I want to do. And it's a divine timing kind of a thing. Have you ever had that happen before? Just think about it. If this hadn't have happened, then this wouldn't have happened. Now, we have all of these things that we create in our world, and we look at all the negative things and say, man, that sucked. But if you look back and you think, you know what? If that hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be in the place I'm in now. Or if I hadn't have gotten divorced, then I wouldn't have the relationship I have now. Or if I, had not gone bankrupt, then I wouldn't have been free to do what I wanted to do. I would have kept myself nose to the grindstone. Just any event, any kind of breakdown that you have, you can look at any of those breakdowns as, okay, it's happening for a reason. Lemonade out of lemons. I don't know what it's going to be. I really don't. And I'm okay with it because you know what? As long as I'm adding value, I know the effect I'm having matters, that I make a difference. So one of my favorite stories that I tell about my processional events that I have, an effect that I have in the world, is I was a teacher for high school for drama teachers, and I hired a student named Reggie. I cast him in a show called Godspell, and he was this beautiful, brilliant, talented young man that was just awesome. And this was back in the 70s in Atlanta, and it was a little controversial because he was black, and I cast him as Jesus, okay? So I didn't care, though, because this guy, he was absolutely just a brilliant, brilliant performer and loved his craft. And I saw that in him, and I said to him after he was about to graduate, and I said, Reggie, honey, I hope that when you graduate, you follow your dream because you are so brilliant. This is something that's your passion. You love this. And he said, yeah, but my mom and my dad, they want me to be a doctor, so I have to go to medical school. And I said, wow, okay, well, just, honey, really follow your dream because this is your passion, but I understand. So I didn't see him again for 4 years. And then I went to Orlando, went to Disney World, and I looked up and I saw the castle. And I saw the castle, the Cinderella's castle there. And guess who was out there singing and dancing, doing a solo? It was Reggie. So I jumped up and down going, Reggie, oh my God, Reggie, it's me. And he saw this crazy woman jumping up and down in front of him, and I ran backstage and I went over to see him, and he got down on his knees and he said, Burge, thank you so much. You made such a difference when you said basically to go for it. I did. I followed my dreams, and my parents are so proud of me, and I'm traveling around the world. I'm making more money than I ever made. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to be doing Disney in Paris, and I'm going for my dream. Thank you. You know, and I just, my jaw dropped open. I'm like, oh, my God, I had no idea I had that kind of effect on him. All I said to him was, hey, go follow your dreams, kid. Go follow your dreams. I didn't know. I had no clue that that was going to create an effect for him. And so I got to see, just by saying one acknowledgement to somebody, how it changed their life. And you all have that ability and have done that. Every one of you. No matter what your goal is, no matter what you think your purpose is, no matter what you feel, whether you matter or not, every one of you have had some kind of experience where you've made a difference in someone's life. As long as you're adding value, the effect you have in the world adds value. Again, ask yourself, not what is my purpose? Ask yourself, what effect do I have in the world? And for me, that is a freedom. It is a freedom of knowing that no matter what my goals are, now I make goals to keep me moving, but I'm not going to be attached to that goal whether I make it or not. If I make it, great. If I don't, great. All I know is that's where I'm headed toward, and I'm intentionalizing my focus, and I'm going to add value along the way. It is the journey. It is the journey, not the destination. Every day you can wake up and say, this is where I'm headed, this is my goal, and if I don't make it, so what? I know I'm adding value. I choose to know that every single day. And my favorite story of procession is It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas movie with Jimmy Stewart. If you've never seen it, go see it. It is an extraordinary tale of exactly this concept I'm trying to share with you today. So, very briefly, Jimmy Stewart felt like his life sucked. He felt like he never made it. He never got to do what he wanted to do. Everybody always got their thing, but he never got his. He felt like he would be better off, that the whole world would be better off, his family, everybody would be better off if he had never been born. He was, time and time again, he really thought his life sucked. So he wanted to go kill himself. And this may sound familiar to some of you. So he was at his rope's end, and he said, I'm just going to just do away with myself. I'm worth more dead than alive. So right before he jumps in the river to kill himself, an angel comes down. An angel comes down and gives him a gift of seeing and knowing what a wonderful life he really has had. He got to see what kind of effect he had had to his family, to his friends, to the town, to the world. If he had never been born, then so many things happened that were not good. That because he was in the world and because he was adding value and didn't even know it, he had created a wonderful life for not just him, but for everyone that he came in contact with. So he got it, and he said, please let me live again. Please, I want to be born again. Please let me live again. And the angel let him live again. And he came back into his reality and said, oh my God, I'm going to jail. That's so awesome. I'm having all this, I'm going bankrupt. I'm going to jail. This is great. Where are my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my family? I made such a difference, and all of these things, none of the stuff that I thought about really mattered anymore. So what he got was what a wonderful life he really had. He got to see that gift. And once he knew it, once he owned it, and once he accepted whatever was going on in his life, that it was a good thing, that he knew that he had that effect, that he was creating a ripple. Once he got that, once he was freed up from the pressure, all of the riches came to him. Everybody in town just started dumping cash onto him because he was in trouble. He didn't ask for it, but he shifted something within himself and realized what a gift he was, and was in gratitude for himself and his life. And he was overcome with joy. And because of that, everything worked out. He became the richest man in town. So, for me, if you've never seen that movie, It's a Wonderful Life is just brilliant. And that is the processional effect in a movie that you can see. And that's how I'd love for all of us to know, if we could just know what a gift we are, and that we matter, and that we make a difference, and that we're important. And all the things that we set up for ourselves on the be, have, do, and all the goals that we have, that's great. That keeps us in motion. However, the most important part of this is it really doesn't matter. It is the journey, because we are having an effect. The 90-degree angle of all the people that we come in contact with, that is our purpose. And to me, that is a freedom of knowing, yes, make the goal, yes, go toward your goal, intentionalize it, focus on it, create it from that place. But know that that's not it. The goal's not it. You came to this planet for a reason. And the reason could be, what if the reason was to experience? Is that enough? Is that enough of a reason to be here? Is to experience. And with every experience, I own that experience. It is a unique experience for me. And I own that through my experiences and through everybody that I touch, I have an effect on, and that creates their experience. I'm that important. what if our reason for being here is so that we can see God in action every day within ourselves or universe or Great Spirit? We are part of the all of that. We are. We all are connected. And when one of us moves a certain way, it pulls a lot of people in that direction and that energy. We're that important. So I hope that with your be, have, and do's, you had some ahas around that, circling some of the things that may be similar, but also creating affirmations out of that as well about I feel, I have to do. And you know what? It really doesn't matter. Ask yourself, what effect do I have, not what is my purpose? And you can look it up, precession, Precession. And the processional effect of me doing these power hours, I don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on any of us. I do know that I'm adding value. It's adding value for me. Therefore, it's got to be adding value for you. And when you go and create from this place of knowing that you matter, then everything matters. And you're not insignificant. And the world would be totally different without you. So I have time for one more. If anybody wants to share anything, and then I have an announcement to make. Does anybody want to share anything?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Burge. This is Dina Williams, and I met you at the California Women's Conference, and this is my first time being able to get on the call, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. In the listing, I would say my aha moment was more so that when I went back and looked, it was so much about me giving or doing for other people. And this time it was just like me writing it down. It was a choice for me to list that or not. Through my life, going through a lot of things, I felt obligated to do for people, but I'm at a point now where it's a choice, and that's what I choose to do, and that's pretty much, it's not a burden, it's actually a gift, and it actually helps to empower me and enlighten me, and it adds value back to me, being able to help and share, and it's usually, I always say it's my mess that became my message.
I love that. I love that, and we in our Essence of Being classes, we talk about and we experience that giving and receiving is the same energy, that the more I give, the more I receive. So the thing for you, which is awesome, I'm loving that about it, just ask yourself, the more I receive, the more I give. Okay, so a lot of people that are givers and they feel really good to give, especially when people receive it, right? Just ask yourself and be mindful. We could go a little bit deeper on that level of my receiving. So oftentimes when people give us things, whether it's a compliment or gift or whatever, then we feel some of us block that receiving some way on a subconscious level. So that just remember that receiving, the more I receive, the more I give. The more I give, the more I receive. So it is a flow, and it's the same energy. I love that.
And that's awesome, because actually it's always been hard for me to receive, and so I've had to learn to receive. So I totally get that, and that will become my mantra.
Perfect. The more I receive, the more I give. And the more receptive I am, the more I receive. So a lot of times people say, I want to have, or I choose to have, whatever it is, and it could be right there in front of their face, but it's blocked energetically and subconsciously because of the receiving. Because many of us want to give back. We'll receive it, but we have to give something really right back. You know, it's like, okay, I'll receive it, but what can I give you? And now we're going to give you. So just the simple act of receiving and saying thank you and breathing it in is going to make a big difference for you, and I really, really honor you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I'm glad you're on the call. So thank you all for being on the call tonight, and I just want to remind everybody that the Essence of Being, which is our basic class, is going to be the next one we're doing. I say basic, it's not. It's 3 days intensive, but it's our first class that you can take in the series of different play shops that we do. It's going to be July 14th through the 16th in Fort Lauderdale, and then we are holding one in Irvine, California, July 21st through the 23rd. So if you or your friends or your family want to join us in Florida at Fort Lauderdale, 14th through the 16th, would love to have you. We're going to be again in California the 21st through the 23rd of July. And then we're going to be in Atlanta October 27th through the 29th. So those are the Essence of Being. We have a lot of graduate workshops we're going to be doing throughout the year, the rest of the year. So if you have not done Essence of Being, then definitely that is the piece where you can get even deeper and intensive on all of the things that we talk about every month. And speaking of next month, in July, my next power call is going to be July 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it's going to be on Mastery. Are you the master of your life? Okay? It's going to be on Mastery. Are you the master of your life? And one of our pinnacle workshop that we do is a 5-day retreat called Mastery. So those of you who have completed a lot of the courses and have gone through our Mastery program would love to have you on that call for sure so that you can share your mastery. But Are You the Master of Your Life is our next call in July. And until then, I just want to say, I'm going to unmute us all so everybody can say, thank you, I am alive, I matter, and I make a difference. So here we go.
Unmuted.
Okay, everybody.
Thanks, Serge.
I love that. I matter. I make a difference. I'm important.
And until we I hope that I see all of you at our workshops throughout the world, and certainly hope in July. Talk again.
Thank you, Berg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Berg.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Berg. Wonderful call again.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Burge. We'll talk.
Okay, hon. All
Thanks.
right. Okay.
Yep. Love you. Thank you.
Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.